Good morning, everybody. Wow, I look like hell this morning. I woke up actually, I woke up a little while ago and the dog threw up. So, yes, it's been kind of an interesting morning so far. I'm just exhausted. Why does the intro make you want starbursts? Oh, because you think he looks like a starburst? Right? Mason's gonna hurt you, man. What's up, everybody? I hope everyone's having a good morning. Yeah, I'm super exhausted, man. I don't know why. Like, I just not feeling it this morning. I was like, man, I don't know if I can do it. I don't know if I can do the show, but I was like, the show must go on. The show must go on. So thank you, everybody, for joining. I don't really have a whole lot this morning, to be honest. I usually try not to work on a video like the night before the show, because there's usually a lot of prep that goes into the show. I mean, yeah, as much prep as I'm gonna do, but yeah, so I didn't have a whole lot prepared, but yeah, we'll talk about a couple things, and let's see, how's everyone doing this morning? All right, already hot and heavy. Stringer Films comes in with the $2 super chat. He says, Ralph, can you wait 5 more minutes? We're chatting here. Yeah. All right, hold on. I'll start the show another time. Nick Madsen, what's up, buddy? How are ya? Mason's in the house. Chad's here. Arcade Eric. I could sit here all day and say hi to all of you, but I'm just gonna blanket statement. Thank you for joining, and I appreciate everyone being here. I'm gonna cut the music here. So something that was kind of interesting over the last couple of weeks, IAPA happened. I'd say the event is really geared toward a place like a Castles and Coasters, like a local amusement park, right? Because local amusement parks most likely going to have a really huge arcade. They're going to have roller coasters or amusement rides. And so they showcase all those things there. But then they also have big experience rides where, like, if you're a small arcade, there's no way you're going to be able to afford them, right? Because they're expensive. But there was one that really caught my attention where I was like, man, that's cool as hell. In certain markets, you'll find they have these big, almost like VR type things. And there's all different companies that make these VR things. And it's like, it's interesting because, like, part of me was thinking, well, why would I go to an arcade to play a VR game when I can play VR games at home? But I think what they're trying to do is like, and this is tough because if you're a small arcade, there's no way you're going to be able to afford these types of things. I think they're trying to create what they did with video games, where, like, you'd go to the arcade and the arcade would be a better experience than what you had at home, but it would sort of promote you. Hey, I'll use this for example, like Ghostbusters is at the arcade, but the Ghostbusters at the arcade is way better than the one at home. It's a bad example because I think that game kind of sucks, the arcade game. But then you could get it at home. It was kind of like one market was feeding the other. They don't really have that in arcades anymore because, with Raw Thrills making games, they don't make a home version of their games. I wish they did. Like, just pretend we live in a world where arcades never died, right? And these companies, or let's just pretend that instead, let's just pretend that right now Raw Thrills decided to say, hey, whatever games we release in the arcade, we're going to release at-home versions, but commercial quality, like really good quality versions for at home. Like, would that be of any interest? The thing is, that market doesn't exist, right? It's not like pinball where if I go to a barcade and I play 007, I can buy 007 for my house. It's not like I can go, I mean, sure, you could buy Cruise and Blast for your house, but it's going to cost you $10,000. You know what I mean? Like, would that be a market that anybody would be interested in? They would be expensive, though. I mean, like, we're talking, maybe their at-home versions, a couple $1,000, $2,500, $3,000. You know what I mean? Would that be something that you'd even be interested in if there was a title you really wanted? I mean, I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility. There's people that have filled their whole entire room with arcade one-ups. That's not cheap nowadays. So I'm just curious, like, are they missing out? Should Raw Thrills or some of these other companies create at-home versions, like, as if the market never stopped, right? Because pinball does it. Like, that's the interesting difference. Yeah, ice has them, though, but I don't know whether that's not, like, you know what I mean? Ice has them, and I don't think ice is unsuccessful in that. I just think their demographics different. Like, they're dealing with like $5,000, $10,000 machines, but I'm talking like, bring it down. Could you make a Raw Thrills $2,500 commercial cabinet for your house? I don't know. With these big VR experiences, I think that's feeding the at-home VR. You know what I mean? Like, give them something, because that's the thing. Like, are the arcade experiences for VR better than what I can get at home? And I can't remember the statistic. Like, we think that a lot of people have VR at home, but I don't think a lot of people do. Like, I think that number is actually pretty low right now. Like, the attach rate for virtual reality is low. like I was thinking it, why would I play VR at an arcade? I have a Oculus Quest 2, you know what I mean? It works great. And I feel like it has a good experience. They now have games where you can like set up large geo fences, like huge, not geo fences, but huge, I can't remember what you call the technology to restrict you, but I wanted to show you guys there's something that I thought was really neat. And I was like, wow, that's a unique experience that you couldn't get at home. Actually, before we do that, you know, I jump around all over the place, but before we do that, I got to show you guys this. Check this. Do you guys remember these? Tell me if you remember these. Remember? Okay, this looks like it's a switchblade, but it's not. It's one of those switchblade combs. Watch this. Okay, this blade is freaking metal. It's freaking metal, bro. I want to carry this thing around. I feel like kind of a badass for this switchblade comb. Yeah, this thing's awesome. Yeah, man. So yeah, it was funny because before the stream, I put this on the table and I didn't even notice it was here, but there was like a can of Red Bull and I opened it up and it flinged the can. I want to do it, but like the dogs might wake up and then Kim's not feeling good. I'm actually not feeling good either. I don't know what's going on. Something's going around everywhere. Anyways, I'm gonna shut that light off. We don't need this camera anymore, but I'm glad it works. I just wish that the software that I'm using is pretty fun. It's pretty easy to use. But I had, but it gives me less options, so I'm probably going to switch back to what I was using before. All right, so JJ says, I had one just like that back in the 80s, and a lot of the folks would take the plastic comb part out and try to put some sort of blade in its place to have an actual switchblade. I guess you could just buy a switchblade, but yeah, that's crazy, man. This one, I swear to God, if you just sharpen this, you'd end up with a freaking... Actually, it wouldn't be a bad beard. Wouldn't be a bad beard comb, to be honest. I might use it for that. Just kind of in the morning, be like, I need some like music that would be, you know, like like that kind of music. I don't know. You guys know what I'm talking about. All right. Anyways, so if you want, I guess I'll put a link in the bottom if you wanted to buy one of these. But tell my nieces I miss them. Yeah, they're not feeling good this morning. Or Bella's not. She threw up. Okay, we got a super chat from How to Bachelor. He says, let's go. Like, comment, subscribe. Love you, Ralph. Love you too, man. I've been really bad at responding to everyone on all social media platforms. So congrats on the house. It looks like you might have closed on it. So that's awesome. Try to follow that How to Bachelor journey, man. I'm glad things seem to be working out, and I appreciate the super chat. All right, we got Stringer here with a $2 super chat. The guy was a big Retro Ralph fan and didn't kill me. Oh, so you sold the stool? That's cool, man. That's awesome. Do you need Todd's permission to self-groom on air? I don't know. I'm going to have to ask him. You know, want to hear something funny? The Garage Gamer's kind of joking right here, and he says, use the promo code Ralph just for men. Well, Nick Madsen, who you all know, he was in my last video, good friend of mine. He posted something about him just fermenting his beard on Twitter, and Just for Freaking Men responded to him, like actual Just for Men. He's like, do you think this is real? I go, click on it. I don't see why not. Like, why would someone make up someone would probably make up a Just for Men account, but it was legit. Just for Men really responded to Nick's post. I was like, that's cool. So that was pretty neat. All right, I got a super chat from Haywood. It looks like Jabroni, but it's Jablomi. Haywood. Oh, not cool, bro. I think that the VR markets are trying to. I'm Canadian, unfortunately. Hey, there's nothing wrong with being Canadian. So I think that VR has been a struggle with it. So I'll rewind even further. I had been talking to Cole Grantham, who's the general manager, one of the general managers over at Castles and Coasters, and we had been talking about maybe we open a VR arcade. And my hesitation, and we'd have some retro games in there. My hesitation around that is that I feel like the technology gap is like not as wide anymore. So like what you can experience at home is pretty good. But then I was reading an article that was talking about how there aren't that many people that own at-home VR, so they can have those experiences in an arcade and they can be unique. But the problem is, I don't know. I guess I'm not sold on that. And the other thing I'm not sold on is I feel like I did a ton of research for the last like I stopped over the last couple months, but it was months ago. I was talking to all these vendors about VR, and it's like, are they attendant free? Because some of these have like VR Agent, which is a Sega game. The headset comes down and it's attendantless, so you don't need an attendant. And then when you're done with the game, the headset goes back up. But it's still on a wire. I just feel like there's so much to break. I don't know. I don't feel like they're reliable enough. So I feel like if you were an arcade owner and you had these machines, like some of the VR machines have motion, so there's hydraulics involved. And I'm like, man, if that stuff breaks, that's going to suck. So I feel like I don't trust the reliability of it. And I can't personally fix those kinds of things. If it was an old retro game, sure, I could fix that. I could feel comfortable fixing it. But I did a little bit of research. There's a local place here that has a bunch of VR games. And I went and like 30% of the games were broken. And I'm all, shit, this doesn't make me confident that I could open a VR location and keep all the machines running. Because that's the worst thing. If you ever talk to Todd Tuckey, he always says, if you own an arcade bar or an arcade, if there's a bad machine that's not working, get it off the floor. Or because the thing is, people walk into an arcade and they see broken machines and it gives them a bad experience and then they don't want to come back. Ralphie, hey buddy, how's it going, man? He says they have VR gaming at the Game Lab in downtown Riverside. Very familiar with Riverside. I used to live in Orange County, so I'd take the toll road over there sometimes. But I'm curious, like, how's the condition of the machines? And do you feel like the experience you get there is unique enough? Here's the thing, right? To open up a barcade, you need to know about bars. I shouldn't be opening up a bar. I've never ran a bar. I don't know anything about that side of the business. I've never worked in a bar. So like, and neither has Cole. So it's like, if I don't have that experience, I feel like that's the part that makes a barcade successful, is the bar itself. I think if you had someone that was really knowledgeable about running a bar and I could handle the gaming side of it, then that'd be something unique. So that's not going to work. But anyways, will there be another Chasing Nostalgia episode 2 soon? Yeah, there will be. So it's not going to be till next year. So I took that break. That was a legit break I needed to take from it because work was getting busy. It takes a lot of time and effort to get that show filmed. Pretty sure I know the next location. I know who it's going to be. I just have to coordinate going out to visit them. But I think it'll be an episode that everyone will really enjoy. Oh, thanks, man. It was so fun. Thank you for including me. It was really, really fun. And I'm looking forward to the movie being released. So it'll be fun to promote that here and get people into it. So just so you know, this is Arcade Heroes. Definitely go support these guys. So when I was talking about VR experiences that I think are unique, when I was talking about VR, I'm like, well, why would VR be successful in an app, in a bar location, or not a bar, but an arcade location or a family fun center? Our family entertainment center, and I was like, well, if you offer a unique
chances
experience,
are, if you've been out to
isn't anything new. Hologate's been around
family
for
entertainment
years,
center like Dave and Buster's,
they licensed some IP.
I don't think they have this particular one, but there's a lot of
Ghostbusters licensed game, and now there is going to be a Ghostbusters game on Oculus Quest 2, but I don't remember when that comes out. I think it's coming out in 2023. But when I saw this, I was like, man, this is unique. But it would be super expensive. So that little Blitz, it's called the Blitz. It's like an hydraulic
Ghostbusters VR Academy
moves around when you're playing the game.
The first one uses their Blitz
and I'll see if I can move forward where you can see it actually playing. But this setup is really cool. Is it loud for you guys?
Wasn't huge.
Turn that volume lower that volume. I don't know why I don't have any volume on it at all. Weird. I don't know why it's playing volume. I tried it turned down all the way. So this is the car. This thing goes up in the air. But this is what I mean. The whole point of this was to show you that there are these unique experiences that you can't have at home. There isn't like you're not going to buy you're not going to buy a $100,000 VR arena for your house. But at the same time, I'm thinking, all right, if you invest in one of these and you're a barcade or arcade, not bar, I keep saying barcade. Sorry. First of all, when do you get your return on investment? And I'm sure when you buy it, there's all this math they give you, like they do. I've gone through these places and they give you like all these, a spreadsheet that says this is when you'll pay it back. And it's like, well, it's based on a certain amount of foot traffic and all this stuff. Thank you for the super chat, Chad. I forgot to mention that. And there's no guarantee. There's no guarantee that you're going to get that kind of foot traffic and make that kind of money. But I do think there is a market for a unique VR experience like that. But then I'm wondering, all right, if you invest 100, whatever it is, like you're financing this thing for 180 grand, $100,000, it's a lot of freaking money. number one, how fast do you pay it back? When it breaks, that sucks, because if it breaks during that time, that's more money potentially. Or if there's a warranty that I don't know how well they actually service those things. Did anybody watch the Mario trailer? I actually watched. So Mason forced me to watch it. I'm not super into movies like that. I don't know why. Like I liked Wreck-It Ralph. I thought that was really good, but because my name's in the movie title. But then I saw it and it looked interesting. I don't know. It seems like a lot of movies like that when we were kids were shitty. Like they weren't good. Like they weren't great games. They weren't great movies. So, I mean, we thought they were good as kids, but then we watched them as adults. These, like you look at the Sonic movie, they're well produced and the characters look good. The stories are decent. So I'm going to probably go see it. But I did watch the trailer and it looked good. There's a recent video of Bob Burgers sent around a crappy VR arcade. I know that's the thing. Like it could be crappy, but it could be good. Like VR Agent by Sega is so cool. And I have a video on that somewhere on my channel. It's when we went out to that expo in Las Vegas and it was awesome. All right. So the thing we're going to talk about is, so for the first time ever, I'm selling a couple systems at Captain's Auction. So one, I made a mistake. I bought NFL Blitz, the real NFL Blitz 99. I got all excited because everyone that was buying the arcade one-up was like, oh my God, NFL Blitz. And I was thinking to myself, after I had it and I played it a little bit, I was like, man, I haven't played NFL Blitz. And like, there are arcade games that I play on the regular. That wasn't one of them. I loved it. We used to play it on Dreamcast. We used to play it on N64. But like, I like the game. It's fun. But it wasn't like one of those games where I was ultra nostalgic for it. So I was like, why did I buy this? And plus it took up a ton of space. Four player, control panel, arcade games, they take up a lot of space. You could fit almost like 1.5 in that space. So you could easily squeeze 2 in if you had the room on either side. So those games don't really, if you are going to do a 4-player control panel, you better love the games that are in those cabinets. So I got rid of it. So that's going off to Captain's Auctions. I didn't do anything to it. As is, it works. I didn't do anything to it though. It's a 4-player NFL Blitz. So you will see that as part of Captain's Auctions. And I was looking at the more recent terms. And of course I closed that. Well, no, I didn't close that window out. So the recent terms for Captain's Auctions, I'll share this with you. So this is important. If you're going to bid at Captain's Auctions, you also need to know this. So understand that when you are going to buy something at Captain's Auctions, now read this with me so you understand it. Highest bidder purchase price. So first of all, if I win it for $500, okay, $500. But there's an 18% buyer's premium. So you have to be aware of that. So just know that like your purchase price isn't necessarily the price you're walking away from it. And then also there's the shipping cost. So you have to factor those things in. So you can't just like buy it and be like, all right, I'm cool. Here's my budget. Like you have to be aware of the bidder premium. Now the bidder premium is online and it's the same online as it is on site. Now we got this to deal with. My hot photo here. No, get away, leave. Why are you on YouTube? Why do these accounts pop up? They're so ridiculous. Like they're all over YouTube. How does YouTube not have the capability? Like they got all this stuff they can do. They can literally figure out what video goes with what target audience, but they can't figure out how to remove spam accounts. Like, I don't understand. The Road Blasters will be going out there too. So I have no idea what I'm going to get for that. That to me is a pretty rare and unique piece. I did not want to get rid of it, guys. I did not. I wanted to keep that arcade machine. It's pretty rare. You don't see them very often. But it's super cumbersome and it's way longer than you'd think. You could probably put 3 arcade machines in the length of that thing. So it's that long. It's very cool though. I'm so bummed getting rid of it because I feel like that's one of those pieces where if I did have an arcade, if I had an arcade or a barcade, I would showcase that somewhere. But it is what it is. There are always hidden costs when buying from an auction. Yeah, Clax29, totally. Everyone has to just be aware of that. So if you go into any auction, go look at the buyer and seller terms. If you're selling something, look at those. If you're buying something, look at those. Because there are people that are like, oh man, I'm all excited. I want to buy things at auction. They don't realize there's a premium on top of it. And they get kind of disappointed or shocked, which you don't want to get shocked when it comes to money. That's never a good thing. I will purchase your road blasters for $12,000. Yeah, that'd be awesome. So they haven't posted it yet. I don't even know if it's actually showed up yet, but I also shipped it too. I got lazy. I could have drove it there. So there's another caveat. Got another super chat from Stringer. The nudist colony had a Commodore 60. I'm not familiar with the Commodore 69. I think you're making that up. I don't think that's an actual... I don't think they made a Commodore 69, but maybe that was like a special release for the nudist colony. I don't know. Got a message from Brandon and said, I used to love watching John's arcade channel. He has a really nice basement arcade and would do repairs, but he has not posted in a long time. Yeah, John has been MIA for a while, over a year now. I don't know. I've never really gotten contact with him. It'd be really cool if he was still in the hobby. It'd be really cool to do some kind of collaboration with him. I don't know him personally. I don't even know anyone that knows him personally. So I don't know if he'd be into something like that. But I know he's not gone. He does I think it's called The Outsiders. I can't remember. They have a big podcast where he does modern gaming. I know he has a band. He's into a lot of different things. He has an arcade in Massachusetts somewhere, I think. And I don't know. Maybe he just got burnt out. I mean, he did it for a lot of years. I want to say it's over 10 years. So, I mean... I'm going on December 18th will be 4 years for me. And sometimes I get burnt out. I told Kim yesterday, I'm like, man, I don't know. Like, I don't know like how long I can keep doing this. I love it though. That's the thing. And she's like, well, if you love it, keep doing it, obviously. And I do love it. I just don't know, like time wise, you have to invest a lot of time. And but I love it. Like, I love it. I love that you guys all enjoy it. So it's definitely nothing I'm going to stop soon, but I would be lying if I didn't say you do start to feel the burnout. The weather's nice, so I want to do work on the arcade machine. So I'm doing that now, but it's like, it's really hard to film that because you're like, all right, you get excited. Like you're in the middle of a restoration project and you're excited, but then you're like, oh crap, it'd be cool if I captured it from this camera angle and that camera angle. So it's one of those things. I want to put out the best possible product that I can with my ability. And sometimes that takes longer than if I were to just turn on the camera and talk. Thank you, everybody. I got to be better about, in the next show, I'm going to be better about getting to all your chats. I'm not going to have a big topic. I want to make the topic Christmas. So the next show is going to be all about you guys. I want to highlight the chat more. It's hard for me to like tell a story and then also manage the chat. So I want to make sure that everyone's chats are heard. So we'll spend a lot more time on that next time. All right, guys, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for joining. Be on the lookout for a video tomorrow on this channel. It'll be about the Robotron restoration. It's going really well. So Mason, get to it, my friend. I know you're gonna go watch the Mario trailer like 175 times and not edit it. And I'm gonna have to bug you. I feel bad when I do that. I'm like, I do these things, right? I do these things where Mason's on to me though. I'm like, hey, how's it going? Like, but like he knows. He's like, well, what do you mean, how's it going? It's going good. Like, you don't ask me that normally. But that, hey, how's it going? Is like, so how's that video come? But I don't want to say that because that's annoying.
Bro, you asked for a thumbnail, like an hour later, sent me 5 crying gifs. How stupid do you think I am?
So I find a way to like make small talk, but he's on to me now. It sucks. Now he knows. He knows when I'm asking about the video status. All right, guys. We'll see you next time. Appreciate you. And I'm sorry, I still haven't fixed the outro, so cover your ears. And we will see you on the next one.